Well, hey everybody. I'm out here on the back deck of the OC, and I asked a guy, had a cell phone, I asked him about the temperature, and he said it was 44. Look, all the water's melted in there, you see? There's just a little bitty piece of ice. Oh no, it's a huge block of ice underneath there. Look at that. It's still frozen. You would have thought by now it would have thawed out, but I'm telling you, at nighttime the temperature is dropping like crazy. I hope you can see me. It's so almost dark out here now. It's hardly no sun. Oh, the guy that looked it up on his cell phone, I gave him a little insight about cell phones, and I'm gonna go ahead and repeat it to y'all. When I was in school, there was a little boy. He was a genius. He was like Shelton on Big Bang. Everybody was being mean to him, beating him up and acting crazy about him and doing, you know, making him feel bad and stuff. So I took him under my wing and protected him. And he became like really friendly with me. And I could understand some of the stuff he was talking about. You know, he knew all, he knew. Well, look, he graduated between 13 and 14 years old. He graduated high school. So he was already doing college courses at that time. And so we're talking, you know, Greenville, Mississippi. He was doing college calculus. I remember some of this stuff. It was really deep math. But to make a long story short, he went to Yale and he graduated in just a few years out of Yale. I don't know if it was 2, 3 years, whatever it was. He graduated and MIT picked him up. He went to MIT, had been there a couple of years and was doing really good from what he told me. And then DARPA flew in and introduced themselves to him and his professors, and they wanted him for DARPA and the CIA. So they got him. Okay, 1993 comes around, and he comes home for Christmas, and he says, buddy, you got to come over. I got something to tell you. I can't talk to nobody. So he told me, just me and him talking, not around his family or nothing. He told me that he was working on a project with these cell phones, and he told me the generations of them that were going to come out, because in '93 they was big as a brick. You know, you hold it, it was like weighed 4 or 5 pounds, and it had a big antenna on it. And he said they were micro sizing them down to be something that was flat and fit in the palm of your hand, and it would go in your pockets. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, it's a soft kill. And I said, what do you mean it's a soft kill? He said, well, it's designed to be like a pack of cigarettes was at the turn of the century. He said nobody was smoking, then everybody was smoking by the 30s. And then by the 40s, a whole nother generation of smokers were coming along. And then by the 60s, people started kind of getting sick, you know, and then the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they started dying by the hundreds of thousands a year with lung cancer and other problems, you know, because cigarettes is really bad. And he said they knew it. They knew it from the very outset of man-made manufacturing cigarettes. See, the native people and the indigenous people from around the world have been smoking their own grown tobacco for centuries and never had lung problems, never had heart problems. So that's what he told me. And he said, never owned one. I've never owned one, never had a cell phone contract. I remember when my wife bought a bag phone, I paid for that son of a gun and paid her bills, and she ended up with, you know, a cell phone and all that kind of stuff. Everybody's got them. Kids, little children, and nobody's being told or taught that they're very dangerous. And I'm here to tell you, they're very dangerous. No children need to be using cell phones, especially keeping them on all day long. It's just ridiculous. That's what he said they would do. He said everybody would keep them on all day long, even if they weren't going to make a phone call or nothing. It turns into a lifestyle with these young children. Okay, so that was 93. He come back in 1998 and he told me, "Come over to my mama's house, buddy. It's worse than I ever thought." It's Christmas time, like it was before, so I went over. And he told me it was, when we got in private, he told me it was a hard kill machine too. And I said, "Well, what do you know? How do you know that?" Well, he said that in 93, all during that time, they were doing a genome project where they were mapping our vibrational frequencies through our DNA structures and grouping it into like your family tree and your history. And he said that, see, this is 98. He said they've got a plan to get everybody's DNA. And he said that from babies, they was getting it from the blood that they take when they prick their heel of their foot. And he said, but it was more diabolical than that. They would be getting it from people. This is before it ever happened. He said people would voluntarily give them a sample out of a scraping of their mouth or spit in a tube. And it was all being engineered and designed to get everybody's signature, no matter who you are on planet Earth, rich, poor, everybody. And it's all cataloged and it's all categorized to your lineages, like who was your great-great-grandfather and all that. And well, we didn't get off in no conspiracy theories. This is 1998, but it registered with me way back then, but I didn't even start thinking about it until found out that he was killed in 2004. Somehow they took him to Iraq or Iran or some kind of on a mission or somewhere, and next thing you know, his mama said that they couldn't tell, it was top secret, he was dead. And so that was all I know about that. But I can tell you this, he's right about everything he told me. And I can try to tell y'all, and y'all are not going to listen, you're not going to do what I'm telling you to do, but I'm telling you to wean yourself from cell phones and quit using them. It's bad enough to have the soft kill part of it, but the hard kill can happen without any notice. And I think there's already a situation where people are suddenly dying, and I guarantee you every one of them suddenly dying people had a cell phone with them. I'm not saying there's a connection. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying anything like it. I'm just telling you, think about these things. Y'all have a good one.